Hello everybody, and today I'm going to show you how I like to sort of walk through how I'm going to show you how to complete all the way up to handing in, and even how I assess a typical assignment here in computer science. Okay, so let's start with that. How do we start an assignment? Well, depending on, of course, which unit and which course you're in, I'll have the assignment description up. And in a typical Computer Science 30 course, you get a choice of a variety of assignments to pick from, so that you as a programmer pick the program you want to solve, or pardon me, the problem you want to solve, and it targets the learning outcomes of this specific unit. When you solve that problem, you'll obviously demonstrate your learning to me. So the first step is to read the assignment and decide which one you're going to solve. This can be done from reading through the list of all the possible assignments in the document on my website. For this demonstration, I'm actually going to choose a problem from my grade 10 computer science course, which isn't really as much choice-based. You sort of do the assignments one by one, but it's a good one to just sort of start with. And so in this assignment, you want to read through it, look for any clues. Sometimes I include some hints or clues throughout the assignment on purpose. And if you have anything that's confusing to you, ask me for clarification if you're not sure exactly what the problem's asking. And this is the problem we're going to accomplish. It's basically a converter from human years into dog years by basically taking a number and multiplying it by 7. So it's a very simple problem to start with. We're going to get started coding it in a second, but I wanted to start by also giving a few tips, especially if you're using NetBeans, that'll help you complete your job and make your job a little bit easier working within your programming environment. NetBeans has a lot of tools to help with coding. Some are very obvious, some are a little more hidden. So here's some that aren't as obvious to you. First one is when you hold down the Alt key and use the mouse scroll, it will zoom in and out of code, making it easier to read. Okay? So to help demonstrate this, I'm going to also jump over to NetBeans itself, which I will do here in a second. Oop, guess we've got to start it up. Okay, here's NetBeans up and running. And I'm just going to open the big example that we did in the first introductory unit and open some of that code. So you see, when I open the code, the first tip was to hold down the Alt key and scroll your mouse. This zooms code in and out, which makes it a lot easier to read. And as it also says, it also makes it useful to you when you print your code into turning it into a PDF. Zooming it in and out also helps it fit better on the page. And we'll get through that in a minute as well. Next tip would be double-clicking the top of a tab for code will show or hide other windows, making it easier to have a large code window. You can see me do this right here. If I double-click, I have a full code window, again using Alt to scroll in and out. And if I need those side windows again, I can double-click it again to bring them back. Very simple way to work. Okay? Then there are two buttons located on the tab that I just double-clicked on, just below that, which can be used to turn code into a comment or comment it in or out as needed. This is useful for problem solving. I'll just show that right now. So if I scroll down to, say, this line right here, if I wanted this line of code not to run, I could go up and click on this button, and it puts a comment at the front. And then I can click this button beside it, and it takes it away. I can do that with one line of code, or I can select multiple lines of code and do it all at once. Comment the code out, comment the code back in. So that's a useful little tip. At any point, if you want the IntelliSense to pop up, you can just press the Control spacebar. So at any point when you're typing code, if you want IntelliSense to appear, just press Control spacebar and it should pop up. Now it's context-based, so if you start typing things while you're doing this, it will help narrow down the list. So sometimes it's useful to start typing first. So if I start typing something and then press Control spacebar, that will bring a context to what it's going to bring up. So if I type J, and then if I type O, etc., it helps with the context of what's going on there. The keyword null can be used in code with Java to act as a placeholder for code you don't actually want to fill in or don't know how to fill in. This doesn't always work, but it's useful in some places, and you've seen this in the output dialog boxes in our previous example. Some some code shortcuts can help to autocomplete code. A full list of these is too extensive to go over here. But at any point, if you want to get further than what I'm doing, you can find these code tips by going to Help and going Keyboard Shortcut Card. And this will have a 2-page document of a whole bunch of keyboard shortcuts and a whole bunch of little tips for working with NetBeans. This is a document that could be printed and put beside your computer if you really wanted to, but it's always available to you right through NetBeans itself. Okay, one simple example of that, which was in our previous example, was to type the word S-out, S-O-U-T, and then press the Tab key, which auto-completes a line of code. Just to show you that again once more, S-O-U-T, Tab, and it auto-completes a line of code for you. Very handy tip. When a program's running, if you want to stop it early, you want to click on the little X at the bottom corner of NetBeans, and I'll just show you that right now. I'm going to run NetBeans. It's going to get up and running. If I want to stop this program early, I can just go down here and click on that X and say, yes, I want to cancel that program. So that way you don't have to go through your whole program if you don't need to. And then next, pressing Alt, holding down Shift, and pressing F, Alt Shift F, will auto format your code, clean it up for you. This is a really good idea to keep your code formatted. It prevents you from having to do the work, just does it for you. Also a really good idea right before you hand code in to get this done. And although it sets it to a certain style, you can actually change that style as well if you're not happy with the format. Just let me know and I can show you how that's done. But just real quick, if for example this line was indented incorrectly, like too far indented, and then I had way too many spaces, and then this line was not indented properly, etc., etc., and either all the code will get formatted, or if you just highlight a bunch of code, I'm just going to highlight this code, press Alt-Shift-F, it'll automatically format it up for you, clean it up real nice for you, and get that done for you. Okay, next up, there's a template that you can edit in NetBeans, which will automatically adjust the commenting block at the top of your code for you. And this is really handy, so you only have to do this once, and then it will remember the setting. But to do this, go to Tools, Templates, scroll down to Java, click on the little plus sign, expand it, select Java main class, then select Open in Editor, and then you'll type in the modification. Again, I'll just show this real quick. Tools, Templates, scroll down to Java, but click on the little plus sign right there. Go to Java main class, and then Open in Editor. Later in the course, you could also edit some more of these different files, but I'm just going to open this one. Here it is. It doesn't actually color code it, but you can then type in this little block of code here so that it automatically updates for you each new project you create with the right name. It'll have your name. Obviously, you want to put your name here, not my name. The current date, even the current time if you want on there as well. So that's a really handy little thing you can do just to automatically get it done each time you want to start a new project. All right, so now let's get on to completing the assignment. So let's build up a project in NetBeans, a new project, and we'll get it ready to go. You've seen this already in a previous presentation. I'd also recommend you have the example open so you have it as a reference, and you can even copy and paste code right out of it. So let's do that. So this is the example open as a reference. I'm going to create a new project, Java with Ant, Java application. Next. I'm going to put it somewhere where I can find it. So I'll browse wherever that is. I'm just going to put it right here on the desktop. A name that's relevant. So this is the dog age calculator. Something simple like that. This is checked off to create the main class for you. Hit finish. And we're ready to go. Okay. I'm just going to delete this little comment. But you can see here, it's already got that name. It's already got my name, the date, the time. What I would need to fill in would be just the description here of what the program itself is. So let me just do that real quick with a little cheat as I copied that. Okay, so there's my description of the program, the Doggone Fun Pet Shop, and all that cool stuff. And now we'll get to actually starting the project down here in main. And again, you've seen this in the example. Okay, so I'm going to start with something easy. I'm just going to do something simple that's really easy, a little output to welcome the user to the program, a little output at the end to say goodbye, and just some placeholder code. So this will be very simple. Okay, so to do the option pane, J option pane, I can do JO control spacebar and show the message dialog. Welcome to Dog Age Calculator. Okay. At the end, same thing. Again, I can also have, instead of just typing this, and I could have gone to my example, found the spot in my example where I was doing output dialog boxes. Again, I could have even used one of the fancier ones if I wanted to, like the ones that we experimented with, and copied and pasted that. Copy paste is, of course, always going to be your friend. And thanks for using the Dog Age Calculator. If my line of code gets a little long, I can always break it up into 2 lines. As well, I'm going to do the system.exit code, which automatically shuts down the program. Don't feel that's really necessary in this program, but it's just something I'm experimenting with. If I need to, I can put in some comments for this. Welcome the user. Say goodbye. And this would be to terminate the program. Okay, and then in the middle, I'm going to have a little placeholder code, just for now. Just because I'm going to solve the problem in a second, but for now, I'm just going to do a system out, and this is my placeholder right here. And this gives me the chance to run the program before I get too deep into it. Welcome to Dog Age. Thanks for using the Dog Age. There, my placeholder came out, so all went well in that way. Okay. But now let's actually solve this. So if I read through the program, I realize I have to get inputs from the user, I have to convert them, and then get some outputs, et cetera, et cetera. And so this would be an example of sort of the code I would generally use, okay? Create the variables, get the user inputs, convert data types, and provide user outputs as needed. So let's do that as well, okay? And I'm going to cheat a little bit and just sort of paste that in there for speed up the time here a little bit. There we go. Okay, so I ask the user for their human age through an input box, convert that string into an integer, take that integer, create another variable and multiply it by 7, display that variable in a dialog box, and then the rest of my code would come in from there. I've also used a lot of extra spaces here. That's fine in your coding. Just if you do too many extra spaces, that would be something you can clean up. Also watch your indents. As you saw, I kind of accidentally maybe indented there. But nonetheless, while you're working on it, that's fine. I'm going to run it. Welcome to Dog Age. Enter your human age. I'm really old. And I'd be definitely dead if I was a dog. And goodbye. Thanks for using the Dog Age Calculator. And we're good to go. Okay, so I think we've got a finished program. So let's talk about how we hand it in now. So I've run it, I've tested it, I've completed my comments, I haven't cleaned up the code, so let's do that real quick. I'm going to just select all my code and do that Alt-Shift-F to clean it up. You'll notice now those extra spaces were taken away and those indents were all kind of taken away. So there it is. If you want to, you know, the cleanup does so much, but if you want to maybe get rid of any extra spaces, you can do that too. That's not necessary. You won't lose any marks for things like that. But for sure, before you hand it in, do an Alt-Shift-F at least once to get the code all cleaned up. Okay? So it's all done. Make sure it runs, which we've already done, but I'm just going to do that again. 1. Okay? So something like that, just to get everything all up and running. Okay, now we need to turn it into a PDF to maintain the look. Take screen captures of it running name the file appropriately, and then hand it in. We've already seen this in a previous presentation, but let's go through that process once again. So my program's all done. It's tested, it's finished, it's ready for me to hand it in. I'm going to go to File, Print. If it's a little bit too big, like you can see here, it's sort of spilling onto the next page. I'm going to just sort of scroll it back a little bit. Try again. Okay. You might also have adjusted some of your options for this to happen, like fit width. May not quite work properly. In this case, it did look nicely if I do the fit width. So I'll just do that. And then I'm going to print it to a PDF. And this is my chance now to actually name it properly as well. Okay. In the previous example, I said rename it once it's done, but here I can just name it right now. So I'm going to call this my name, and that this is the dog age calculator. Okay. I could also call it something like variables unit assignment 1. That would be fine as well. The more important thing is that you have your name in the name of the file, and I'll save it. Okay, so there it is. It's done. I should be able to find that. Let me just close this down for now. Should be able to find that on my desktop. Ooh, my desktop is a mess. Let's delete some of this right now. Some pictures on there that I'm going to get rid of. Anyways, here it is. Won't waste your time with that. Here's the actual file. There's the code. Looks good. All on there. But there's lots of room on this page. I can put some screen captures. So I'm going to do that next. I'm going to run my program, take some screen captures. Now they don't have to go directly into the PDF. You could also put them into a Word file and then turn the Word file into a PDF. Whatever's easier for you to do it that way. So take a screen capture of this, paste it in here. Happen to be running some screen capture software right now, but don't have to do it that way. Actually, I wish it wasn't running, but we'll just do that. 50, I'll print screen, paste that in there, print screen, and then this little window here as well. Okay, so I'll just separate those out, lay them out on the page here, and there I got everything I need. My code, my comments, everything looks great. All my screen captures, it shows that this program is completed. I've already named it properly, but I'll just save it, all the changes. And so now, this file, the dog age calculator file, is ready for me to hand it in. It's all set. Okay, so with that now done, okay, we'll move to the next stage. So we've printed our code, we've taken the screen captures, it's a PDF ready for hand in. So now we need to go to the proper hand in page. Again, this depends whether you're an online student or a student in my class. Whichever website you use, at some point you will be uploading the file. So I'll just show that as well. Okay, so this would be where you could add a file right here and select it. Okay, and then any other files if needed there, and then upload it this way. I'm not going to actually upload it, but there it is. And if you are in the InformNet course online, same idea. You would, right here, attach your file the same way, okay, and upload it that way. Again, I'm not going to go through this process right now. I'm not going to actually do this. But that's how you would actually submit your assignment to me. Okay, now you've handed in your assignment. It gets marked, and eventually it will get handed back to you. When it gets handed back to you, you'll get not only a grade, but you'll receive feedback from me. You'll get your PDF back, and if there was things on there that could be improved, I will make comments right on your PDF. I will annotate it. I will also give you a marking sheet explaining your grade. you can always resubmit your assignment as many times as you want until you get the grade you want. Now this is of course dependent on time. You can't spend the entire course working on one assignment, but if you work quickly and you have time and you want to fix it up, I encourage students to absolutely do that. Okay? Now, next thing I want to do is just go over some of the basics of the marking sheet itself. You can always read it in more detail. You can always contact me if you have questions. And lastly, if you feel I've made a mistake in grading, like you think I gave you a lower mark than you deserve, I absolutely encourage students to challenge my grading. Come in with a good argument saying this is why you shouldn't have taken that grade away, and most of the time students win that argument as long as you have a decent argument other than like, you know, give me a higher grade because I'm so good looking. Okay. So this is a picture of the marked feedback sheet. It's a PDF document you'll receive. It'll have your name on it. It'll have the assignment you completed on it. It'll have your various scores on it. It'll have totals for each assignment and totals for the entire unit. It's a pretty complicated document, but everything should be on there for you. So we'll just take a quick look at that. I do have one open. Somewhat right. Oh, I thought I did. Let me just reopen it. And you'll get this document and you'll be able to look at it yourself. But here, let's take a quick look. Oh, shoot. 1 second. Okay, so here's the document. So the first thing you'll see is your name on there. And then what I do when I mark it is I will pick the assignment that you did, whatever assignment that was. And then I will give you your mark here out of 5 possible marks here. So say this one was a 4, this one was a 5, and a 5. If it doesn't apply, if this is a marking area that doesn't apply, it'll stay at 0. And then your various marks along here. You'll also have your mastery factor assigned, so whatever that number is, say in this case that one. And then this will then give you your points before mastery score and your points after mastery score. And then it'll also total up everything for the unit itself in various places to give you your unit totals altogether. Okay, it's a fairly complicated system, but it basically results in points. Okay, that's how it will work. So that each assignment will start building up points. Okay, and that will be your unit assessment mark for the unit, will be the total number of points you assess. If you want to learn a lot of detail about each specific area of the marking, and I do encourage this because it'll help build a better programmer for you, is to read the second page of this marking sheet, which goes over all the specific details. I'm not going to take the time to read that entire section to you, but please take some time if you get a chance to read it so you know kind of what I'm looking for in each section, especially if you're getting a low mark in that section all the time. And that'll help improve your score. Okay? All right. That's it. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me, and good luck with all your assignments.